Rain poured down in heavy sheets, drenching the ruined streets of the abandoned city. Neon lights flickered weakly, barely cutting through the darkness. In the shadows, a small figure shivered, curled up against a broken wall. She was alone, naked, and trembling, not from the cold alone, but from fear. Every sound made her jump, the drip of water, the distant hum of a flying vehicle, the echo of her own heartbeat. Her name was Lyra. She had no home, no family, no hope. The city had eaten everything from her, her clothes, her friends, her past. She didn't even remember how she had ended up here, only that she had run from something, from someone, but now there was nowhere left to run. A faint light appeared in the distance, soft and steady. Lyra held her breath, thinking it might be another scavenger, or worse, one of the city's hunters who preyed on the weak. She wanted to hide, to vanish into the shadows, but her body was too weak. Her feet slipped on the wet metal and she fell. Pain shot through her leg, and she cried out quietly, ashamed of the sound. The light drew closer. It wasn't harsh or threatening, it was warm. Then she saw him. He was human. He walked with calm confidence, his eyes scanning the darkness but always returning to her. Lyra wanted to scream, to warn him away, but the sound wouldn't come. He crouched down, keeping a distance, and whispered, almost to himself, "You don't belong here. You belong with me." Lyra's heart froze. His voice wasn't loud, yet it seemed to pierce through every layer of fear around her. Something in his tone made her feel safe for the first time in years. Slowly, hesitantly, she stepped forward, unsure if she could trust him. Who are you?" she whispered, her voice trembling. "My name is Kale," he replied. "I can help you." He extended a hand. Lyra stared at it, then at her own trembling body, then back at him. Could she trust him? Could she risk following someone she had never met, someone human? Her instincts screamed no, but her body and mind were too exhausted to refuse. She grasped his hand, and warmth spread through her as if the cold and fear had been pushed back by a small flame inside her chest. Kale lifted her gently, his touch careful, respectful. "You're safe now," he said. Lyra didn't know how to respond. Safe, she hadn't felt safe in years. She followed him through narrow alleys and broken tunnels, her body aching and her mind spinning. She wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but all she could do was keep moving and hope he would not abandon her. Finally, they reached a hidden chamber deep under the city. Lights glowed softly, illuminating warm beds, food, and clean water. Robots moved quietly in the corners, maintaining the place without disturbing anyone. Lyra's eyes widened. It wasn't just a shelter, it was a sanctuary. Kale set her down gently. "You don't have to be afraid," he said. "Here, no one will harm you. You're free." Lyra sank onto a bed, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to scream, cry, laugh, all at once. Her body ached from hunger and cold, her mind ached from years of fear, but here, now, for the first time, she felt a flicker of hope. Kale watched her quietly, giving her space. Then he spoke again, softer this time. "Lyra, you don't have to hide anymore. You're not alone. Not ever again." Days passed. Lyra learned more about Kale's sanctuary. Humans and aliens alike, broken and scared, found refuge here. Machines and technology worked to heal their bodies, repair their homes, and restore hope. Lyra saw faces of all shapes and colors, creatures she had never imagined, and yet all were treated with kindness and respect. Kale taught her to fight, to survive, but not in the way she had before. This was about control, about self-confidence, about using her body and mind without fear. He trained her gently, with patience, never raising his voice, always encouraging. And in those moments, Lyra began to remember herself, not the terrified, homeless girl she had been, but the strong, clever, and brave being she could become. But safety had its shadows. Some nights, the city above howled with danger. Raiders, predators, and worse still, those who hunted for human and alien alike, prowled the streets. Lyra learned that freedom didn't mean peace, it meant vigilance. Kale trusted her, relied on her, and she began to rely on him, not just as a protector, but as someone who believed in her when she could not believe in herself. One night, as the rain lashed against the roof of the sanctuary, Lyra sat by the glowing pool where the sanctuary purified water. Kale approached silently. "You've come far," he said. "I've never seen anyone recover so quickly." Lyra smiled faintly, still trembling from the cold and exhaustion of her journey. I didn't know if I could survive this long," she admitted. "But, you made me feel safe. You made me feel like I belong somewhere." Kale knelt beside her. "You do belong. You belong here, with all of us. And, with me." His voice was soft but firm, carrying a weight that made her heart race. She looked at him, searching for any hint of deception. There was none. Only warmth, only trust, only the promise that she had never known before. Time passed. Lyra healed. Her body regained strength, and her mind sharpened. She learned to use the technology around her, to communicate with the sanctuary's AI, to plan and lead. Kale and Lyra became a team, a force that brought hope not just to the sanctuary, but to those who dared survive above in the crumbling city. Then came the night when the sanctuary faced its first real test. Raiders stormed the outer defenses, aiming to destroy the safe haven and claim its secrets. Alarms blared, lights flashed red, and chaos threatened to consume everyone. Lyra's heart pounded. She remembered the scared girl in the streets, and she refused to let that girl return. "Kale, we can stop them," she shouted. "We can save everyone." Together, they coordinated the defense. Lyra guided the defenders, directing energy shields, activating traps, and leading counterattacks. Her mind was sharp, her instincts honed by fear and survival. Kale fought alongside her, their movements synchronized, almost instinctively. And for the first time, Lyra felt the thrill of true power, not the kind born of fear or desperation, but the kind born of courage and purpose. By dawn, the raiders were gone. The sanctuary stood, battered but unbroken. Lyra collapsed, exhausted, and Kale was there immediately, supporting her. "You did it," he whispered. "You saved us all." Lyra smiled through her tears. She looked around at the sanctuary, at the people she now considered family, and realized something she had never imagined possible: she was no longer homeless, hopeless, or alone. She belonged. Kale's hand found hers again. "You belong with me," he said softly, repeating the words that had saved her once before. This time, they felt different, not a promise, but a truth. Lyra leaned into him, her fear finally gone, replaced by a warmth she had never known. She had survived, she had fought, and she had found a place where she was truly safe. A place where she was loved. Outside, the city continued to crumble, but inside the sanctuary, hope had been reborn. And Lyra knew, no matter what the world threw at her next, she would face it. Not as the scared, naked girl in the rain, but as a warrior, a survivor, and someone who belonged. Because sometimes, all it takes is a whisper, a simple word, to change a life forever. "You belong with me." And for Lyra, it was the beginning of everything.